Yes, there we go. But I think the last one we did record. So now
Yes,
we
and
can
I'll send over the first
say
one as
hi
well.
and we are on the air. And it's good to see you again. And
Good to
we
see you again.
all technicals again.
Excellent.
Yeah, do you want to dive in and pick up we may have even time to touch on Aries to Libra just very quickly.
Yes,
We have the takeaways at the end, but then we
yes.
have to do a deeper look at Scorpio to Pisces and then the takeaways.
Excellent.
You
Excellent.
want to pull up the PowerPoint? Otherwise, you can give me the permissions and I pull it up my end.
Sure. Okay, go ahead. I allowed you to share screen.
Hey, here we go. Can you see it?
Almost. There we are.
Oh,
Yes. So we are in Scorpio, yes?
yeah. And then,
Okay.
so should I just go back to Aries then? And we just, if people that are getting the recording, that they have like a little fresh up,
Sure.
let's just do it very fast. And then to everyone who's listening later on, we have it in the first recording and we will put that up also. So Aries is fast, is fire, and that's where their frustration comes from. And whenever we have need for healing, of course, there is a reason for it. Either it's because we are hurt by someone, or we're hurt by a situation, or we are frustrated about ourselves. And that's when we say challenges. Those are the things like self-sabotage, where we later on feel bad about how we said something to someone. So we have the need then to heal ourselves. And this is what we want to share with people, like what are the pitfalls of each sign. So in parentheses, or like, it's not a pitfall. We are not putting negative light on the signs here, not at all. What we want to
Yes.
do is just look at what can be a challenge and then what are the solutions. And only very quick for Aries, it's because they are very fast. They can overreact and react in the moment and then feel the frustration later and maybe do wrong decisions that they regret. And that's when the wisest for them to get into their healing is to first of all take their fire in order to lead others, because that's fulfillment for them. And also
Yes.
practice patience and being direct and honest. Of course they are, so that's their strength, and that's how they can deal when they have need for healing and there's like a discord with a relationship. Then they are just using their gift of being a direct communicator and just try to be as gentle as possible. Look at the opposite sign of Libra, and then that will help a lot. And then
I,
practice yoga and calm
and
down.
I like how you say that because, like Aries people, when you do meet them, they are extremely fire. That's the proper word for them. And
Mhm.
some of them are unconscious about the strength of this, and then
That,
they use it perhaps in an unconscious manner
yes.
where it could hurt people. But essentially, every astrological sign has this component of uniqueness that can definitely serve in the world in a peaceful and
Mhm.
leadership manner, in an organizational manner, in a healing manner, and every sign holds this gift.
Exactly, and you said it so golden. It is really unconscious. They don't do it on purpose. It's just the nature of it, of the fastness, the quickness. And then
Yes.
we just do the quick repetition basically from our last meeting. So the Taurus, they can be very stubborn, and for them it's frustrating when they are with someone like a Gemini that is like super fast, and then it's finding their, like, getting out of their rut and being a little more flexible and letting go, because they want to like, they like to possess, they like to have. And so the other may feel oppressed, and that's when frustration and the need for healing can come up. So for them it's really good to also learn to let go and practice self-discipline and control, because it's Taurus likes good food, and of course we can feel frustrated when we eat too much. and it is not good for the body on the long run. So self-control can be helpful. And then of course spending time in nature, because that's when the Taurus, when they really recharge their battery. And movement also, because they're fixed signs, so they should be also a little in movement, and that helps with being flexible also.
Yes, and I think too, like, and these solutions are not unique to each sign. There is some overlap, and I think nature has a very uh, underrated uh, opinion of it, because people say they don't have time to go outside, but even a 10-minute walk to recharge is better than no walk. And
So true.
and everybody can benefit from being with nature, or sitting on grass, or walking their dog, however you see fit. Your soul should be able to guide you to the best decision for yourself at that time.
That is so true. Exactly. Okay, so then we hop over to Gemini, and so they're air, they're fast, and so they can get themselves into trouble, especially in relationships, maybe when they are gossipy, when they're like overly nervous, and that will can cause frustration. Like, okay, I was like, I shouldn't have said that, and I was too fast with this, and I didn't think before I act, and also so slow down and following through, because Gemini, yeah, I want to do this. Oh, I want to try, and I want to do this, and yes, I help you tomorrow. And then they forget, because there's so much data in their head always, because they're so mental, and then they are frustrated. Oh, I didn't deliver my promise, so now they are turning their back on me. So they're frustrated and they're looking for healing, and the healing is really in like slowing down, sniffing the flowers along the way, and and following through, keeping promises, and doing like the Tai Chi, for example, and yoga. They're slow movements, and they help with the energy, balancing the energy. And again,
Yes,
time in nature, because that is definitely the frequency that the trees and the grass and all the plants are radiating. And then we have
absolutely. And again, there's the theme again of nature. And
mm,
even I would even extend that to even the scent that you have
mm,
outside. What are you drawn to? Are you drawn to cedar? Are you drawn to the scent of fresh grass, fresh flowers? Are you drawn to jasmine flowers, roses? You know, the scents outside, if especially if you are drawn to certain scents, that's what your body needs at that time. And when they
that's
say stop and smell the roses, there's a literal benefit to
yeah.
that.
Oh,
It's not just
that's
some
why
sort of,
they're
it's not
exactly, and that's
okay,
why
it's
there's aromatherapy, right?
aroma.
It
Exactly.
can be for free outside, exactly.
Yeah.
Then just to repeat the next one, Cancer, they're really emotional, and for them it's really easy to be vulnerable, to be hurt. To be hurt is the better saying for this, because they like a sponge. They pick up others' vibes, because they're so sensitive, so they can take things too personal. And because they're like the ocean tides, they're in phases. They have moods, and they swing faster than with any other sign. So just knowing that, okay, so I have moods, so now I feel a little like very sensitive, I withdraw, and it's natural. And then on
Yes.
the other hand, they are like really outgoing and active, because it's a cardinal sign. Cardinal means it's more active, and people with a cardinal note, they take action, and so then they help and they support and they cook and they take care and they nourish. So they have these phases, ups and lows, and just knowing that is like allowing yourself, okay, now it's time, I just take a little cat nap in a hammock, and also find the soft ways of expressing. Water, of
Yes.
course, because they are water, and grounding to just counterbalance this oh god, being so susceptible for others' vibes. and
Yes.
um and yeah, for that it's good to have healthy boundaries and spend time near water for healing.
Yes. And I like that, one thing I think we forget is that the awareness that surrounds each uh, star signs, each zodiac signs strengths and weaknesses can develop over time with age, with experience. And it's really truly about listening to truly what you need at a certain particular moment. And some of them would resonate with you more strongly than others just because of your star sign. So my point is that it's okay if you look at these solutions and say you don't do any of these, because sometimes it may not be needing what you need at that point in time. However, there are some just basic solutions that everybody should be doing, which is going outside, exercising, resting, and setting boundaries. These are like universal, these are universal self-care laws. If
That
we
is
have
so true. Exactly. Kind of like for vitamin D and breathing deeply and good food and hydration with good water. That is so true. That's for everyone. And then let's hop to Leo. Leo also, oopsie, Leo is also fire, so they are also fast acting, and they can be the noble king that takes care of the servants in the kingdom. But if they don't use it well, they can get themselves into precarious situations when they are like when they want to be on the mic always, and they want to be front and center on the stage, and they don't give others room, and they don't really trust others even to be able to do parts of the work that is necessary for the whole group. So they have to learn to delegate sometimes and really trust that the other person is doing it, and just reel themselves in and see that when they help others grow, that's when they find the fulfillment and avoid frustration, because they feel when they are overly like what is that, like showing off and arrogant or so, they will lose other people in their life, and then they get frustrated, and then they're looking for healing. So that's when they have to see, okay, so these are the pitfalls when I'm a bit too proud, too arrogant, if I'm when I'm not like decent enough or so, and I'm bossing others around, then people will, or my situations, my relationships will become unbalanced, and I will not feel good. And so here are the antidotes then.
Exactly. And I think too, you can feel, I'm working with a Leo right now, and they are truly very natural leaders as well. And the one very beautiful thing about working with her as well is that she did say in a recent conversation, I trust you. I know what you are capable of. And they are just delegating authority. And the beautiful thing is it's almost like reverberates back the into what she's doing and to what I'm doing, because there's a trust that's built, right? And
Yes.
trust is a very powerful emotional state, especially when you're working on creating
Yes,
together.
that is so true. And I think now more than ever in our whole like life, because what's going on the government level and all this, that people learn to trust themselves more, because we have given the trust outside. And if
Yes.
we just look, I mean, okay, now we say, okay, we have to trust the other person, but we are more sensitive about trust. Who can I trust? Can I trust our government leader, or can I trust the healthcare system? Or do I
Yes.
rather trust like that I'm able to like kick in my own healing abilities and drink natural teas and find other ways also? That's
Yes. Absolutely. That's very beautifully said. Absolutely.
and then we have, let's see, we hop to Leo, to Virgo. Virgo, yeah, the nervous system. So they, if they are over analyzing and to make it all good and perfect, it's like really the mental strain. Just letting go and balance with the like also subtle arts, and with the Piscean, because Pisces is the other end of the spectrum. So whenever we are overly tending to like being overly mental and overly worried about everything being perfect, so we just look at the other sign, and that says like relax, flow, and it will all come together anyway. In the end, it always does.
It does.
And seeing the big picture, and also the nature, because that brings down the high voltage in the brain sometimes. I know this as a Gemini also. We have Mercury
Yes.
in common.
Absolutely. And I think the idea of, I mean, this is again, the challenges are sometimes are like for example, feeling inferior. It's a feeling. You don't have to attach yourself to it.
So true.
Okay. Like,
So
and
true.
who are you? Who are you without this feeling? Well,
Mhm.
you are your truest self, your
Yeah.
authentic self, what you're really meant to be. And so I spoke with a Virgo today, and I was saying you don't need to overthink,
Mhm.
let go, and what will make you happy at this time. So the WhatsApp chat got very quiet. And then within about 5 minutes, she said, "This is what I need to do." I said, "Good. So just
Yeah.
be happy. This is what we'll do. And I'll support you either way." But sometimes you have to remind people that it's okay to feel what they're feeling as long as they're not attaching their whole life or whole day around that emotion, because that's exhausting, right?
Yeah,
And
that is
Virgos
so
are
true.
quite synonymous. We could do
Yes.
that.
Exactly. And also, I mean, every this is like the basic archetypal uh trait that is connected to a sign, and when we call it challenge, of course, then this is the shadow side and we want to bring it into the light. So there are so many other parts in everybody's horoscope. We are all like a seashell, unique on the
Oh,
beach. We're all
yes,
different, and
yes,
it's really only one aspect of it, and we have so many other gold nuggets that we can look at, and that we can just use also to get ourselves into
yes,
self-confidence
yes,
and self-confidence
yes,
spots.
absolutely. And that's again the building awareness around
Right,
yourself
that's
as
where it
well.
starts. Exactly. Knowing it is when we can really turn it around and choose, like, deliberately to change it.
Yes,
And then we had, this is our last sign, whoops, Libra, where we got stuck last time. So
yes,
Libra is undecisive and a little laid back, and they can tend to be on the lazy side because it's really, it's it's the sunset spot of the chart, you know, in the west where the sun sets. And so it's in the old and ancient astrology, it's in fall. Libra, the sun in Libra is in fall, and
yep,
it is when Libra is not getting into like getting their butt going, you know, if you want. So
yeah,
looking at the other sign, the action sign of Aries is like taking action, just taking the courage of making a decision, because that, I know Libras, and this is what they say, that like when they have a strong Libra, so they say, I'm so frustrated about, I cannot make a decision, I don't want to disappoint anyone. And that's just, you know, you make one decision on a Tuesday, on a Thursday you can make a different decision. I mean, I don't want to say that you have to jump back and forth, but you have to see that you have many opportunities to make a decision in life, and the more ease you have with it, then you see it's only a decision, and from here I can correct it if I'm not that happy with
absolutely.
it. And also speaking up, because Libras are so soft and they don't want to injure anyone, so they
No,
hold back, and then they become passive aggressive because they have to get
yes,
it out. Oh, I shouldn't.
yes,
Yes, it's so difficult.
yes.
Oh, and just speak up for yourself, you know.
I know you feel for them, and some of them are, it's hard to sometimes find common ground with a Libra just because of their, they balance, right? They're going this way and then they go this way, their
Yeah,
emotions go this way and this go this way. So you have to
well said.
find a bit of grace
Yeah.
like when you're dealing with someone who is a Libra, and you just have that awareness that they might be struggling with that, and then also understanding that, the idea of, the again, that universal self-care law, like expressing yourself.
Oh,
Do you have an
yeah,
outlet for what you are going through? I know
yeah.
I have writing. I write constantly,
Hmm.
and very healing. So
Of course, you
every
have Mercury as your
yes,
guiding star.
this is why I love you. You know exactly what. Here's your prescription. You need to write
Yeah,
18 times a day.
right. I love it when astrology works.
I
Yes,
love
and
it.
Libra also, in terms of like self-care, when you said that, it's about also food, because Libra likes to take it easy. So they like
Yes.
Venusian food, all like soft ice cream and all this. And that's when
Oh,
they have to say also, okay, so I make a decision to not overdoing it, you know.
yes.
They feel frustrated and then they need healing afterwards.
Yes. Very well said.
Good. And then, so here's where we pick up again, and we can look deeper into it. Scorpio. So they are water sign also, and they have a bad reputation because it's all about like jealousy and, you know, all these, the bad traits, obsessiveness and controlling. And it's the Scorpio that stings, and it's kind of the evil sign. But if you, I mean, if you use it in the lower sense, what you mentioned earlier, also when people get into, like, when we're aging, as we are aging and we are maturing, then we notice the traits in ourselves, like the Gemini
Yes.
being on time or Pisces being on time. So you say like, okay, I got into trouble with that, so I make changes. Scorpio, I have
Yes.
Scorpio ascendant, my sun is in Scorpio's house, and I have moon in Scorpio, so I have a lot of Scorpio energy, and I can relate to it really well firsthand. So the things that I don't want, Scorpio is the surgeon in the zodiac, so they have the power to cut out. They are really not afraid to look into the deep, and like with a flashlight, lightning inside and shining light into all the dark spots. It's about turning things around and purifying it. It's making things better. It's like the time of year where the leaves fall from the tree, fall on the ground, become fertilizer for next spring, for the roots to have nutrition from the earth and all this. So it's a cycle of decay and death and
Yes.
rebirth. It's like really,
Yes.
Scorpio has the trait. I mean, so they can be broody. So they have to see for their healing that they cannot hang on to things. They're fixed. They want to hang on. So they have to learn to let go. And they have to learn also to cheer up, because they're sensitive and intense. They want to go deep and all this. And so sometimes they just have to like really shake their whole body and become funny and not so serious anymore. And yeah, letting go and looking at the light side of life, and using the pain and the dark stuff from themselves to look at, okay, so here's where I went through, helping others, like the phoenix out
Yes.
of the ashes that it has seen the fire and was burned, and now it can rise up, and it's the helping the others, like a drug addict becomes free from his addiction, and then has like a consulting office and helps other drug addicts. So that's the good side of Scorpio. And that is the healing. Often when we are able to help others, we don't see our own um, mm, like faults or problems that big anymore. And then we focus on the healing, on helping others.
And you said something really beautiful, Stephanie, about the shadow side. And, you know, the shadow side is the teacher in all of us. We all have it. And we can also call it ego. We can call it darkness. We can call it fear. There's all of these kind of darker aspects that everybody is aware or unaware of. But
Mm,
if you build awareness around the darkness, you should be able to learn from it and then also transmute that into a lighter being and
mm.
into healing for yourself. And everybody's capable of that. Everybody is capable.
Yes,
It
so
takes
true.
sometimes lifetimes, next lifetimes,
Mhm.
however, but
Yes.
your lessons that come from the darkness are some of your most deepest learnings that you can
Mm.
take with you in this lifetime.
I so agree. And it's basically everyone brings a piece of the puzzle. And that's really seeing, okay, so these are my challenges, and here's like the nugget that I can bring. And it's not only for myself, because what would my life be if I was the only resident in like in all of California? We are not an island. We have to interact with other people. It's just what we are here for. And
Sure.
it's just to find the harmonious ways to deal with people, and especially when they are in the family and you cannot avoid them, or at work when it's somebody like that you have somebody that you work with that has difficulties, you clash with them. So finding and knowing, like, okay, so that person is a Scorpio, and they're like really intense always, and they're so they are trying to, you give them the little finger and they take the whole arm. They are like overtaking you, and so knowing that is okay. So I know my boundaries now, so you know how to deal with it, and you find the antidotes. Most of the times it's in the opposite sign.
Yes. Yes. Very beautiful.
And then we have the next one is Sag. So Sag, similar to Aries and Leo, they're fire, so they can rush ahead, and so they can they like to share their opinion, and so not everyone wants to hear an opinion, and because they're ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is the biggest planet in the zodiac, and it's the magnification glass. So wherever Jupiter is touching, it's making things bigger, and it can be for good or ill, right? So when we are too much of a good thing, can even to the point of expanding not only friendship circle or your wealth, but your cell tissue of the body. Because when you like to eat, and you don't have healthy boundaries, then, and you're like the gluttonous is like the more, better, more,
Yes,
higher,
yes, yes.
faster. That's the growth aspect of Sagittarius. So we have to get a grip on it, and whether it's in communications, nutrition, mindset, and because Sag has the bird's eye view, as opposed to Gemini, the opposite sign.
Yes.
That's the like 1 to 3 ABC, like the small elementary school. Sag is higher education, so it's like the higher mind, and then they know, obviously they do know a lot, but it's about, can I really push my opinion on everybody else and preach everyone, and and override what they think, and have only my dogmatic worldview count or so. And that's getting them into trouble. And I think that's when they hit their edges and become frustrated, and Sagittarius then seeks healing for that, and that will be definitely honesty and tact,
Yes.
because the
Absolutely.
fire shoots out. And so it can be
Yes.
helpful to just think, be a little more soft, and also look look how's the other taking it, like looking at details. So I'm talking to someone, I'm a Sag, and I want to tell them everything. So I have to see, does the opposite brain grasp at all what I'm saying? And it's more listening also. That is important.
Yes. And I think, when you have somebody who is, if you are a 1-star sign and you have another one, and you're not exactly aware of what sign they are, because I mean, traditionally, when somebody says, traditionally, what's your sign? It's a romantic interlude, right? There's a bit of a gesture. But in this case, we're not talking about that. It's also more so, even if you don't know what sign they are, and even you know your sign, but you don't know who you're dealing with, that's okay. But your self-awareness about what your strengths and weaknesses are can essentially enhance the communication if you are able to return to the truest part of yourself in that conversation, which would help that communication piece, for example. Or it could help a project that you're working on, or it could help a marriage, for example.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's when you really look at the antidote or the solution, and say like, okay, what's Sagittarius, for example, optimism, faith, deep faith. And that's when you use that, and you even help others with that, that's really
Yes.
where the beauty happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, and you talk in our upcoming talks in for Valentine's Day, when we talk about partnerships, this will be another kind of offshoot of that as well, where you look at who did I marry, and what are their strengths, and what is their shadow self? How do I work with that? Because some people are not aware of that.
Exactly, that is so true. So then the next one, Capricorn. So yeah, when I built my house in Mexico, my builder was a Capricorn, and they love stone. They are like really, they are what they are builders. They love structures. They love like a good foundation. That's where they're really That's for them, they build it. They always build something stable, something, a construct that you can use, that serves as a yeah, as a skeleton where you can put the meat on and details. But they are the ones that really like the structures, like a government structure that works to run a country. But with that, they can be rigid also, and because they're so serious, the melancholy is something to look out for. And if they are only focused on work, career, business, then they forget about their family. So the opposite sign, Cancer, is more nurturing, it's caring, it's the nourishment, as I said. And it is necessary to go out and make a living, and whether you create your own business or you work for a company and you make your money or income, we have to be like mindful about economy and all this. But we cannot fall into like this trap, overthinking the material aspect of life. And yeah, as I said, it's this beautiful our axis, Capricorn and Cancer, that brings the food on the table, basically, that puts it together. And so the Capricorn will definitely profit from, like, in terms of healing, practicing that compassion, the Cancerian caring, and also the flexibility, because in the body, and we talk about body later on also in a future episode, it's really the bones, because the bones are the skeleton, the structure of our body. And also because Capricorn, Saturn is the ruling planet, it's all about limiting, because a building has limits, right? You have to have a foundation, you have walls that are limiting your room from the outside of atmosphere. And in the same way, the skin is the limit from like in our body, from the inner our inner self and the outer world. So the skin, the bones, and also the teeth, because it's crystallized, it's hard. Capricorn is hard. It's the mountain goat, and it wants to always climb up on the career ladder. But so giving yourself a slack, also spending time in nature, definitely, because that's the rhythm of nature, the vibration and the singing of the birds that brings the softness to the Capricorn, that helps them heal.
And we underestimate Mother Nature on a whole level, not only at a physical level, but at an emotional level, on how some people are, when they say that trees are healing, and people can say, oh, I'm a tree hugger. There's a reason why people hug trees. Trees are very wise.
Yes,
they communicate with each other.
Yes.
They help each other. They connect their roots under the earth. So what does this have to do with communication? Well, or with a Capricorn, or with any one of these star signs, that nature is very wise.
Yeah.
And if you have that built that awareness and that appreciation of having nature in your day, even if it's just a 5-minute outside and just looking and breathing in the fresh air, it relaxes the nervous system, and also the parasympathetic nervous system as well. So there's like these biological components that healing can take place just by stepping outside.
And it doesn't matter what time, and even in a rain and ugly weather. I'm born in North Germany. Believe me, November can be really, really ugly weather. But going out and getting rained on, even, I mean, it's just so cleansing in a way. And then you go inside, have a hot tea. But it's definitely on, or if you can, at least in your office or so, have a plant, because it's alive and you have something to take care for. So the nourishing comes into the Capricorn, it comes up for the Capricorn. So there are definitely ways, going barefoot, and there are little things, as you say, like short walks, sunshine.
And I have a Capricorn. My husband is a Capricorn. And I tell him, and I literally tell him, I said, look at your feet, take off your shoes, and go walk barefoot in the grass. And he said, and it took me forever to teach him, but he's done it, and he does do it, not as often as I would like, but I have to physically write him a prescription and say,
Oh,
walk
cool.
barefoot in the grass. This,
Yeah.
because it's Capricorn, right? Like, it's very structured.
Yes.
This
Yes,
is
they
the
are
day you
prepared
do
and
it.
organized. Mhm.
Put it on a sticky note, and I say, go outside and
Uh-huh.
walk on the grass. Oh, and they forget. They
Well, they have
actually
a lot
forget.
of business information to manage, and it's really, they also love to-do lists.
They do. They
Yes,
do.
planning and all this. So true. And then we have the next one, Aquarius. So the
Mm.
interesting bridge between Capricorn and Aquarius is both are ruled by Saturn in the ancient
Yes.
astrology. The modern ruler of Aquarius now is Uranus, but it is about, if you have the self-discipline and structure of Capricorn, then you have the freedom to be really free in Aquarius, because without a self-discipline, it is chaos. And that is Aquarius when it is not, I mean, the challenges can be that they're aloof, they only see themselves, they're going against anything. Aquarius is about change, and like drastic change, and Capricorn is about keeping the status quo. So Aquarius wants to break out of the status quo, wants to break the old rules, old structures, and if we don't do it with foresight and planning, then it can be definitely chaotic. And also Aquarius, it's such a big, I would say, energy, because we are talking about like healing, and healing and involves people, of course. So we are doing this for people that listen into the recording, but as we are going more and more into Aquarian energies, with Pluto going one more time, then a little sidestep again back into Capricorn, and then going all with both feet into Aquarius, then we have to look at Aquarius more deeply. And that can be, I mean, it goes back really to what you do with it. It can be like this cool lack of empathy, somebody who just sees a system that they want to implement, and control mechanisms like Orwell's 1984. Or it can be helpful for humanity, because Aquarius is all about humanity.
Yes.
Sometimes they forgot to look at the human and see only humanity, but it's definitely the sign that is the like the brotherhood, being together. And that's when we talked about the root system. That's the future, because roots of trees, they communicate under the earth. You have heard of the mycelials?
Yes.
The mushrooms, they are connected. It's an intelligent system. They don't see them. The tree stem cannot look, and the branches and the leaves, they cannot see the other trees. So this is where I'm growing over. Like the vines, they know where they put their little, the little arms, where they wrap around. They have an instinct also. And that's the new organization, away from the hierarchical structure of Capricorn to the Aquarian interconnectedness that is a little more, on the first glance, it looks chaotic, because when you look at the root work of a tree, it's like really random, right? There's no order. There's like, this line has to go there, and then they have like 3 offshoots of every branch. It's not like that. It's more free flowing, but it is the networking, and that is important. And that's the beauty where Aquarius finds healing.
Yes,
Coming together with
absolutely.
others.
I love the way you explained that the root systems, there's no plan around it. They just root,
Mm-hmm.
and then and it looks like chaos, but it's organized chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and it serves a purpose,
And
right?
it's now strong. I mean, these roots, they go really far out. I mean, the old trees, it's amazing. And you can see the diameter of how they reach out, and then yes, they interconnect. And that's definitely the way to go, that you connect in tribes. This is kind of, we are working towards that, and to begin with. And it's, I mean, the age of Aquarius, it's, when you look at how old the world is, I mean, it's probably
Yes,
a returning cycle.
yes, yes. Very well said.
And so let's hop to the next one. the last one, that's Pisces. And
Yes.
they are water, and they are super sensitive. And it's really, it's the symbol of Neptune, which is the planet, the modern planet that rules it. It was Jupiter in the past. That's why Jupiter, for example, maybe you know that in Vedic astrology, it's called Guru.
Yes.
Jupiter. So that's why where the faith and the spirituality to a degree comes into Sag and Jupiter. But Pisces is this real spiritual sign, and most of now ruled by Neptune. And it has,
Yes.
as I said, it's kind of like an antenna looking symbol, or it looks like the, you know, the Neptune, the god of the oceans, the trifork. So
Oh yeah,
that's
the trifork, yeah.
uh, trident, I think it's called.
Oh, the trident, yes,
Yes.
yeah.
So Pisces is either the like the like the wire to the universe. I would
Yeah.
rather say Uranus is that, but Pisces is like so spiritual and compassionate, like Jesus style, can love everyone, does not know any boundaries. Or if it does not acknowledge this sensitive spiritual side, they can fall into like real depression, and they cannot deal with all these, like when I said earlier, Pisces and timing. I mean, of course, they have to take a flight or take a train, and they have to be at the station at a time. Otherwise, the train is gone. So they have to live in a world that is really boom, boom, boom on clock. And we are trained into a functioning society. Go have a job, have maybe two jobs, bring your kids to daycare, and you see that you work as much as you can. And the money system, this system, and material. The Piscean person could not care less about material. And it's really, one astrologer friend said it so nicely. He said, like put water in your hand and put it in your pocket, and then try to get it out of your pocket, in your jeans or so, you know, you
Yes.
can't. You have a wet spot
Okay.
on your pants. But
Yeah.
it's the feeling. And if you find a way through the arts, that's the best. If Pisces is expressing through the arts, or I know actually two Pisces women that have such a balance with their opposite sign Virgo, that they do manage. I mean, they can function well. So they
Yes.
have this balance. The sun, I think the sun Pisces, so they have ascendant. I don't remember what it was, but two women I know, they have this Pisces Virgo thing so beautifully balanced. They can totally be practical, and Pisces for itself can have difficulties with practicality. And then because they feel they can pick up so many vibes of other people also, that they I mean, the dreams and all this, so they feel difficulty and they feel paranoid. And in terms of relationships, when they try to control through martyrdom, then the relationship is prone to fall apart pretty soon, unless the other person is like a what is it, an enabler or so. So then of course it may
Absolutely.
function. But the often the Pisces escapes into drugs and alcohol, because that's when they can disconnect from this harsh world that they cannot understand.
Oh, it sounds so, I mean, that see that awareness, well, coming back to like physical, emotional, and mental health, sometimes, I mean, we all are here on the planet. We have survived these different matrix systems in education or in healthcare, in government, and we are some of the signs are, like you are explaining, are highly sensitive, and they are led to believe that these sensitivities are not beneficial. But when you are highly sensitive, you are almost a beacon for healing. And
Yeah.
if you are able to understand your sensitivity as a gift, and that you don't suppress it through
Yes. Well said.
certain substances
Mm.
or certain behaviors, you will you will thrive as a human being, but also if you're going to thrive in that way, others around you will thrive. And so I know many people, including myself, who I was told that I was too sensitive. But really, when it boils down to it, having that awareness and feeling what others feel is so powerful, because you have that empathy, you have that muscle that's already embedded within you. The main thing is that it should be teaching you, not suppressing you, and it shouldn't be fodder for somebody else's uh, insecurities.
That
And
is,
so,
mm,
you know what I mean? Like it should be something that should be celebrated, especially at this day and age where the world has become very harsh
yeah,
when it
exactly.
comes
And
to
as you said,
materialism and money and all that.
mhm,
That is there. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there are some of us who are not always aware that, that we are very aware that this is not the way to be. We have almost have it upside down.
it is, you're hitting it on the nail, on its head right there. It's upside down, and it's on purpose. There was a time in the past when it was on purpose turned around, and society had been kind of like trained into very docile functioning people following a system that we don't think for ourselves. And I can only recommend to everyone, this is really, really general information about the sun sign, the
Sure.
zodiac sign, but there are many, many nuances. But any of your sign, just pick your sign and find on the internet, just do research and see how you resonate, because you find the gold nuggets. And that's really what is the best, the fulfillment that you can find for your own healing, emotional and spiritual healing. And also you can go to astro.com and print your free chart and just experiment with the glyphs, and there are explanations for it. Also, you can find all the explanations with the glyph,
Beautiful. Yeah.
and that way you just get your feet wet and see whether it speaks to you. And I
Yes.
think we have time now. We are getting to the hour already, so I want to pull up here the see the takeaways. And so that is, yeah, Aries, get the speed out, take the speed out, and take a breather, and use the optimism and the beginner's mind in stressful situations, and see the other. I think that's the best for healing. And then also Taurus, flexibility with body, and also trusting in the abundance, so you don't have the feeling you have to hoard. Gemini, focus, precision, and perseverance, and stay objective, because like Sagittarius, they also want to take an opinion or so. It's really good to take the Merlin approach and be objective, honest, and calm. Cancer, just know that you naturally change your emotions, just allow it to happen and go with it. And healthy boundaries, and optimistic mindset, and self-discipline, because they like to feed on sugar and starch when they get depressed sometimes. Leo, learn to delegate and be a humble and loving leader. Virgo, balance your analytic mind through being in flow, and use the arts, and then develop self-confidence. And Libra, become courageous decision maker, practice self-assertiveness, and maintain healthy boundaries and self-discipline in terms also sugar and Venusian foods. And Scorpio, give others space and practice art of letting go, also flexibility and staying cheerful, and noble standards. Sag, stay objective and develop strong self-discipline. We talked about cell growth. Be tactful in communications and stay open to others' opinions. So listening also. And
Excellent.
Capricorn, crack up and laugh more and be
Yes.
subtle. Also caring could be in there also. And Aquarius, yeah, flexibility and being caring to others. And the opposite sign is Leo, so show heart, and have good moral standards. To the future is Aquarius, and we have to have good moral and ethics. And then the last one, Pisces, realistic structure that works for you, because we need a little bit of structure. Every culture in the past, even like little tribes that didn't have transportation system or whatever, we need a structure, so that works with you. And then be self-aware, because everyone is a gold nugget, and develop confidence and self-worth. And then, so if someone feels like reaching out to us, here's your contact information for everyone who listens to the recording.
Yes.
Roshni does the couples and any counseling, right?
Yes, I'm a Hava healer, so we shed light on the cracks in your soul and we patch them up so you can live an authentic and loud life.
There you go. And I'm an astrologer, and I do echo tours and retreats also. So
Yeah.
happy to help you guys.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. And thank you for your knowledge. It's always a pleasure and honor to hear you. It's like soul food for me. It's nourishment. And it's just as good as a gourmet meal. So I'm always thankful for you and for your knowledge and for sharing it with us, because it's extremely, extremely important.
The Mercury minds that connect us. Yeah, I so find this nourishing on this in the same. Looking forward to the next one already.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so then